Animal Crossing. And another thing was the RNG was so ridiculous on like the boss battles, which were basically just the main battles in the game. Hey guys, Shnickerman here, back with another podcast of Gaming with Passion. This is going to be part 2 of the games that we played growing up with my brother Nick here. Say hello.
I'm not the Shnickerman, but I am the Nick Kirkman.
This is also going to be a little bit different podcast / video where I'm not really going to be doing too much editing. It just takes a lot of time, and so I want to focus on the content. So when we last left off, we were talking about I think it was PS2 games we had when we were kids.
Yep.
So next, we're just going to start transitioning into what we remember from Game Boy Advance. And to start that off, I think we both got the original model Game Boy Advance, the purple one, back whenever that released.
You had the purple.
Oh, you had the
I had the Glacier one.
Yeah.
I guess
is that called the Glacier?
Yeah, so. Something like that, because it's kind of like blue. It looks icy.
Oh yeah, it's like icy. Right.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you got at first? I'm trying to remember what the first game
Metroid Fusion, I know, was one of, I believe, if not the first one that I got. I got it like for my birthday or something, so it was very... I'm trying to think, because I don't honestly... I remember getting it, and I couldn't tell you what, like, was the... I feel like it was Metroid Fusion, because I don't know what else I would have played.
Well, you got Jackie Chan Adventures very early on.
Yeah, I was going to say that
GameStop,
too. Yeah.
Or it was EB Games at the time.
Yeah, Jackie Chan Adventures.
I don't know if I remember my first, but I know that the second game I think I got was like 007.
Oh, I forgot.
Do you remember what movie was that one? That was like
I believe
it was
the game
Pierce Brosnan one.
No, it was a Pierce Brosnan one, but I believe the game was not actually a movie. I think it was
its own storyline.
Right, but it was with Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, I've said this on another podcast, I think, but it was literally the only game that I ever sat down. I beat it in like 3 hours or something. It was a brand new game, and I brought it back to GameStop, and I got like $45 out of 50 or something back for it because I traded it in so fast.
That's not bad considering.
And that was like the only game I've ever done that for like that, because I was like, I literally beat the game and I was like, I'm never going to play this again because it was not a good game anyway.
Man, I'm like blanking on what
was my first
Game Boy Advance games I even had.
Okay, you had...
well, I know I had like Legacy of Goku 2. That was probably... I played that one a lot for sure.
Didn't you have Legacy of Goku 1 also?
I played it, but I believe it was a friend's. I believe I bought it from a friend.
So I know like a bunch of games I had. I don't know which order they were in, so I guess we'll just start talking about them in no particular order because I don't think my brain is good enough to know. We played a lot of Golden Sun, borrowed them, and now I own those games.
True, too.
We played a lot of Golden Sun, but we didn't actually own them. We never got Ruby and Sapphire or Emerald. We never I completely skipped that generation.
I feel like I pretty much wanted a Game Boy Advance to play those as well, and I never ended up getting them for that.
I remember like a kid in school had him, and I was like, he still plays Pokemon. And I remember doing that, but then later probably regretted it. I'm trying to... Oh, no, I think I remember one of my first games was Zapper.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
It's like basically like Frogger, but you're like this cricket or something. I think it was like a THQ game or something along those lines. I might throw in some photos of these like game covers just so you guys can see if you're watching.
I'm really like, now that you think about it, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, Zapper was definitely one of my first ones. But actually, Boktai, Sun is in Your Hands, I bought that on my birthday. That may have been one of the first games I got as well.
Right.
So really, really obscure game with a sun sensor. If you've never heard of it, you should look it up. It's a Konami game, and it's pretty obscure, pretty random, pretty hard. I remember it was really frustrating to play, but I was also like impressed that I had it and anyone else had like heard of it at the time.
That's really bothering me now because I'm trying to think like. I know.
Jackie Chan Adventures
I definitely for sure. I had Jackie Chan Adventures. I had one of the first, if not the first, was Metroid Fusion, which I really enjoyed. I had never played Super Metroid before, or any Metroid game for that. Or I think I had played Metroid 2, like maybe on a cousin's Game Boy or something when I was very young, but like not really remembering a lot about it. And Metroid Fusion came out, and I remember because I believe you were getting like GamePro magazine at the time and seeing stuff about it. So otherwise, I probably wouldn't have really known much about it. because I think I saw like ads for it, and Samus had the super cool like blue and yellow.
Yeah, you actually asked for Fusion, and it was like when Prime came out as well. And I remember because Grandma got it like from a toy store when it first came out. Remember?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it might not have been like on release, but it was pretty close to that.
I don't remember. I don't even remember that. I remember getting it for my birthday one year or something like that. But maybe that's what happened. I got it from Grandma.
No, because I remember you got the Metroid Prime like little like poster thing, and that was given away as like a promotion for getting the game.
That's right.
And I think Grandma said something like, "Oh, they just gave this to me, so you can have it," or like whatever.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think it might have been like it released a few months before, but she already knew you wanted it, so she got it for you and then gave it to you once it was like time.
And that was a good. I mean, it's a good game. Yeah. I don't believe I ever actually ended up beating it. At the time, I definitely, especially just because like YouTube wasn't really a thing at that point, so you couldn't just sort of look up a walkthrough if you like. I remember I looked up walkthroughs, like written ones, but written descriptions of sort of like areas in Metroid is not really too helpful sometimes.
I eventually ended up beating it. It wasn't originally when I played your version, but later in years I beat it, and then
I do think I got pretty far, but I definitely didn't.
I think so. The final boss is actually pretty hard. I played it like 5 years ago or so. I got to the final boss and just didn't feel like dealing with the final boss, so I was like, I've already beat this game.
But it was good though. There was really like it was always super intense. Like when the evil like shadow Samus or whatever would come chase you and stuff. Yeah, like a super good Metroid. I was gonna say Metroidvania, but it's a Metroid. It's
just a Metroid game,
right?
Yeah.
It's like very similar in style to Super Metroid. I believe like a couple years later, or if not like a year later, they came out with Zero Mission, which was in the same style. That was a remake of the first one.
I'd still like to play that one. I haven't got around to it. I think another one that I got pretty early on was this Shaman King game. Another Konami game, obscure. I don't want to even say. I think it's like Master of Spirits or something. All the games are like something of spirit.
Right.
But it's basically Metroidvania, and you get to your powers are like different spirits you collect. Most of them are like the mainline characters. Really good game. I want to do a full video review about it eventually because it's really fun, but hard. I have Boo's Fury, which is Legacy of Goku 3, because you had 2.
Right.
I saw that the third one was coming out. That game is still honestly pretty fun. You get to do the fusions. Right. You get to play up through like Kid Buu, Saga. Comes with like a poster. It ended up becoming like really sought after, actually.
The second one was, I remember playing that. I played that a lot, and because I also remember towards the end it getting very like grindy and having to fight like enemies over and over again.
That's what the third one's like.
Level up,
just grind. Yeah.
But it was a good game. And I did beat it, and it was fun, and I really enjoyed it when I was playing it.
I feel like that's kind of a interesting little like different type of RPG kind of game or action game that doesn't really like.
It's really kind of bothering me anymore. It's really kind of bothering me though, because those are literally like that game, Metroid Fusion. I know I had the Jackie Chan Adventure game. I'm
trying to remember what
which was
Game Boy
like
Advance games
right.
you had.
Me too.
I don't really know.
Which the Jackie Chan Adventures was like a beat 'em up. But it was kind of hard, and it wasn't that good.
It wasn't that good at all.
Yeah, it was like a weird sort of like they attempted like a lot of the games on Game Boy Advance. They try to do some like isometric sort of 3D looking type
it wasn't
games.
a great beat 'em up at all.
Right?
To be honest,
it was pretty meh. But I really like Jackie Chan Adventures, and I thought maybe it would be a good game, and it wasn't. But
I think. I can think of a few more for me as well, but I'm surprised I pulled Zapper out because that one I barely remember.
Well, say some more of yours, and maybe I'll remember.
Okay, another one I got for like a birthday or Christmas was Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Now, this is a really...
That was Game Boy Advance? That wasn't DS?
No, it's Game Boy Advance. That game was like a sequel to one of the... I forget the name of the game. It's another Kirby game that's almost the same.
Kirby Tilt and Air Ride? Or,
no.
No.
I don't remember what it's called. But anyway... This is the one where you call in Kirby's and you can have like up to 4 Kirby's like help you at once.
Right.
But from what I remember, that is also like a Metroidvania. Like you have to go all over the place. You get different enemies that then help you unlock different areas.
Well, see, I just remembered one Game Boy Advance game that was yours that I played quite a bit and was like, I loved so much
What?
was Yoshi's Island.
Oh, right. That's a good one, too. Yeah, I had a lot of Game Boy Advance games, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, so Yoshi's Island port on Game Boy Advance. I played that one a ton, too. We would go through it and try to, like, 100% all the levels.
Yeah.
And we did really, really well. That I have really fond memories of that game, too.
Well, at the time, though, playing it, like, I don't think I realized that it was originally a Super Nintendo
No, we
game.
didn't, because even there, on Game Boy Color, they had the original Mario Bros. That they did, like, a weird thing with on Game Boy Color.
Well,
the first time I ever
right.
played that was that.
Well, technically, it was like Yoshi's Island was like Mario Advance 3, because the first Mario Advance was, I believe, Mario Brothers 2.
No, I think it was Mario 3. Or Mario 2 or
no,
Mario
2.
3.
And then the second Mario Advance must have been 3.
Yeah, I think it was 2 and then 3 and then Yoshi's Island.
Right.
And then I think they might have even had another one.
Or no, I'm sorry. 2 Mario Advance 2 was Super Mario World.
Oh, right.
But Mario Advance 1 was, Mario Brothers 2 with like the Doki Doki Panic, like pulling out.
Oh, really? They didn't have the Mario 3 one? Okay.
Yeah. Unless it was included in that one, but I had only ever seen that aspect of it.
Okay. I'm going to have to... I don't know if this is going to stop the audio. I have to cheat for a second because I have a few of my other... I'm trying to remember if there's any major ones on my Game Boy Advance collection that I didn't talk about. Oh, well, it wasn't a game I had, but I played a lot of Mega Man Battle Network 2.
Yeah.
Which was my friend Matt's.
Oh, I was wondering.
So
I forgot who that was.
Actually.
Yeah. I was going to say, I guess I really didn't have a lot of my own Game Boy Advance games.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So Mega Man Battle Network 2, I really like that franchise. That's pretty much the only one I've ever really played, but I had a lot of fun with it. I had to restart my file like many, many times. I don't know why, but I just did. Yeah, I don't know. I have fond memories of it. Now I own 3 and 4, and I sold my version of 2, but that was something I got. My friend Matt, the same friend, let me just say this. My same friend Matt, for one of my birthdays, bought me Sonic Advance 3, which is a really fun game. Still have that one. I think the Sonic Advance series are really underrated in terms of Sonics. I think they're much better than the original 3. And they have a lot of more characters, and their sprites are cooler. Just putting it out there.
I want to say... I almost want to say I beat Mega Man Battle Network 2. Or I got very close to the end.
Beat it, because I never even beat it. The last, like... I got stuck on Proto Man or something
because I did, because I beat Proto Man.
I don't think you ever beat it, but
I think that I did. I feel like I did, and I might not have told you that I beat, or like, because you borrowed it from your friend, so you're like, well, you can't play this game.
Unless you beat it like when we were already in college or something, then that's one thing. But I don't know. Anyway, let's keep moving. Another one I just remembered from my list, which is another classic game for me, Yu-Gi-Oh! Reshift of Destruction. Which is, I don't even know how to explain it. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh game where you basically, I mean, a lot of the games are like this. You have to, there's like those games that are based off of like the TV show, which are like really easy. You just like, just like fight other duelists.
Didn't you have another one too?
Yeah, I did. That might have been the first game I ever got. It was, I forget the name of it. It was like,
it's like
World Tournament or something.
World Championship or something. Yu-Gi-Oh game.
I'll put a picture.
That one I remember.
That one was a joke though, because it was like, I feel like there were only like 10 battles in the whole game, and you could import your cards, so you could literally make your deck just like a bunch of blue eyes because you just needed the code for
I also feel like that game in particular, like I think the reason we found Reshift of Destruction so hard at the time was because I don't think that championship game or whatever, World
Eternal
Champion,
Duelist, I think it was called.
I don't think they had like tribute
summons. They didn't even have the rules. It was like the TV show rules,
right?
Which was like no rules.
Right. So there was like no tribute summons. You could just pull out any monster you had and stuff like that. Yeah.
But that brings us into Reshift of Destruction, then, why I want to explain why I like it so much. So like, yeah, you basically get penalized in the game for having good cards. So the better your card is, basically you could still import it, but the price you'd have to pay for it would be like insanely high if it was a good card. So like, let's say there's like a point system. If you won a duel, you might get like 15 points. But if you wanted like a Blue Eyes, it was like 1,500 points or something. Right. So you would literally have to grind 1,000,000 duels just to get a Blue Eyes, like stuff like that. And like really good 4-star monsters were the same. They'd be like almost impossible to get. So basically what you had to do is just grind a million of those cheap duels until you could get enough points to get one good card for your deck. And another thing was the RNG was so ridiculous on like the boss battles, which were basically just the main battles in the game. Like I remember being stuck on Mako, the fish guy, for a while. You would just have to play him so many times and hope that his opening hand wasn't like ridiculously good.
I also think,
and then eventually you could beat him.
Right. I also think at the I have much more like experience with it now, but back in the day we weren't really playing Yu-Gi-Oh properly or like competitively or anything, so it's not like we really knew how to build good decks. So it was literally just like, oh well, this card is strong, so I'm going to put it in the deck.
Right,
type
but
of
you
thing.
were also
and we
limited.
Also weren't.
Yeah, you were limited on what cards you could even have.
We were also weren't used to tributing stuff either, so that also I feel like added to the difficulty. Where you
at first, but I played this over the years a lot just to grind, and I ended up getting pretty far. I think later in the game you actually get the God cards, which is super sick and obviously makes it completely different.
Yeah, that's
but trying to like actually summon the God cards is hard because I think they're like 3 tribute summons or something. So trying to do that's pretty crazy. But at least according to my list, I think that was the last one. I don't think I can think of any other ones right now. Those were my like main games, and I have most of them still.
Yeah, I want to say that system for me was like I definitely like borrowed a lot of games from.
You must have, because I can't even believe that we can only remember. You had some Tony Hawk game? No, we borrowed Tony Hawk's Underground from one of our neighbors. I remember that.
Tony Hawk's Underground wasn't on Game Boy, I don't think.
Then it was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, I think.
Maybe.
On Game Boy.
I don't remember playing. I remember I definitely had the Tony Hawk ones for the Game Boy Color, for sure. Like I had 3 and you had 2.
Well, we definitely borrowed
for
one
Game Boy
from
Color.
Nick and Mike, I remember.
But Game Boy Advance, like... Yeah, I don't...
Yeah, we borrowed a lot of stuff.
Metroid Fusion.
We borrowed a lot of stuff.
Jackie Chan Adventures, Legacy of Goku 2. I mean, I'm sure I had to have had another one. But
I couldn't tell you more too, but I can't remember. Those were like the main ones, and I think those ones are even more special to me because those are the ones I remember and that were good or bad.
Right.
Okay, so let's think.
Well, do you still have that like bag of like just the cartridges or whatever?
I have some. Oh, you had a Clone Wars, Star Wars.
Oh, that's right. Game. I did.
That's
I had a very crappy Star Wars.
That game was probably the worst one out of all of them. So far, Jackie Chan Adventures was better than that.
Another game that I played that I ended up getting from a garage sale was there was a Lord of the Rings 2 Towers.
Oh, that is a good game.
And that was kind of like top down.
It's a Diablo. It's like a Diablo.
Yeah.
Basically,
it was good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And I also had The Hobbit.
Oh, The Hobbit. See, that might have been one of the first ones you got actually. So The Hobbit, before the movie franchise, after the book came out, there was like a cartoon, and then they based a bunch of video games around that cartoon. There was like a PS2 game and
they made game but it was there wasn't a cartoon though. They just sort of made this sort of like cartoony stylized like 3D model of him.
Gotcha.
And there was a Game Boy Advance game too, which obviously wasn't the same as
the console version.
As like the console versions. I don't even really remember too much what the gameplay was like.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so did I.
I don't know what happened to that.
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to just transition into like DS, I guess, quickly because you never had a DS. I got a DS. I remember saving my money. It was all like my Christmas and birthday money for like a year.
Remember that Splinter Cell?
Listen. So the first thing I had was everybody at the time was just doing PictoChat. And then you got the Metroid Prime Hunters demo disc, which you could play multiplayer with multiple people that didn't even have the game. So I remember playing that a ton. And the first game I got was WarioWare Touched, which is probably one of my favorite games. We played that so much. My sister played it. My brother played it. We got everybody to play. We got crazy high scores on like a lot of the mini games. Really fun.
Yeah.
And then the next time I had enough money, I got like I think the games were like $30 or something. I saved $30. I went to, I think it was Media Play, which is a discontinued store. But I went there and I'm like looking for games, and I think I was looking at like the new releases or something. It was like Splinter Cell Chaos Theory just came out, and I was like, Splinter Cell. I've always wanted to play Splinter Cell. I was like, I remember playing somebody's Splinter Cell on Xbox.
I also think there was sort of like, because I mean, maybe not for everyone, but I feel like there was a little bit of like sense that people thought that because the DS you could sort of you could sort of play. They had like Super Mario Brothers 64 on the DS, so you'd be more 3D stuff. So you kind of assumed like, oh, the Splinter Cell game is going to be just like the console versions or whatever.
Exactly, and so it turns out that game was just like a mess. I don't think I ever got very far in it. I think I actually still own it because it's not worth anything. It's not worth the time, and my copy even got water damaged on the case. But anyway. Trash game, and then like I'm pretty sure at the same time I could have just bought Super Mario DS, which is like the Super Mario 64 DS one, which I would have had way more fun with because that's a fantastic game. So that was that. Other DS stuff. I mean, I have tons of DS stuff. A lot of it I got later. I'm trying to think if there's any ones earlier on.
Earlier.
Nintendogs, but my sister played. Oh no, Animal Crossing. I think I got that one. I think it came out like a year after. I don't know. We played a lot of Animal Crossing in our house. Again, everybody had a character.
I forget what was it New Moon? Called New Moon or something?
Wild World Wild World, I think.
I think it was New Moon. I mean, I can go check.
No, it's not New Moon. I don't think. I don't know. Anyway, so I had a lot of fun with that. What was the one that I said right before that? Animal Crossing.
Nintendogs.
Oh yeah, my sister got a lot of games for it. She had like. Dress up your doll kind of games, and she had Nintendogs, which I played a little bit of, but not too much. Yeah, My Sims. Yeah, I mean, I got Golden Sun, New Dawn, or whatever that game is called, the third Golden Sun game. Okay, so the camera overheated, so we're going to have to keep going. So we took some time and looked up some games that we forgot about that we had. So DS. One game I had is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Ring of Fates, which my brother actually found on the bus. Somebody like dropped it or something. Nobody
they
claimed
left the cartridge on the floor of the
so
bus.
We got it, and at the time it was basically a new game. So I got that. Don't really remember much about that game. It's a Crystal Chronicles game. It's all right. I had borrowed Final Fantasy 3 from a friend. That was really fun. I think that's the first time that the North American audience ever got to play Final Fantasy 3, which was pretty cool. I thought the DS port was pretty decent. I had Kirby Mass Attack for DS, which I bought in college, which it's an alright game. It is what it is. Kirby games are really short. Not much to say about that. A really good one, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, kind of like a JRPG, but the Mario and Luigi style game. Had a lot of fun with that. I remember pretty much not putting it down until I beat it. What else do I have? Radiant Historia is one I bought a little bit later on. Pretty good RPG. Never ended up beating it. I had Kingdom Hearts 385 over 2 days, which I beat that one in college. That was kind of a weird game. Now there's other ways to play it, finally. It was kind of janky on DS. I don't think it was really that great. I bought Dragon Quest 9. I never played much of it, which is funny because that was my first Dragon Quest game, and I never really got into the series until Dragon Quest 11, so I'll have to go back someday and beat that. And then I think my biggest one was Pokemon Heart Gold, because Nick and I, we had Gold and Silver back in the day, that was my favorite Pokemon game. And so getting that, I did the thing with the Pokewalker and everything, still got that. And then Nick didn't have a 3DS either, so I'm going to just kind of quickly go through that as well.
I did have 3DSs at multiple
He got it
times.
later on, but
yeah.
I got my 3DS later on. It came with Super Mario 3D World, the 3D game.
To be fair, I never technically used an actual 3DS. I had a 2DS, like multiple times. But.
I think I used 3D for Mario 3D World a few times and turned it off because it gave me a headache. So that's the, kind of what I did with the 3D. So I played that game a bit. I don't have too many 3DS games. I just picked out a few. Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds, had a lot of fun with that. Got pretty close to beating it, I think, but never ended up beating it. You played that one as well.
I played that one. I just played your copy, and I did beat it. And it was a good game. Yeah, it was really good.
One of the earlier games I got to is no, actually that's not an earlier one. I got this game. Now this is becoming more popular because there's a sequel now. It's Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Soul Hackers. This is when game collecting started taking off, and I knew Atlas was a good developer. I didn't really know anything about Shin Megami Tensei at the time, but I heard that this game was coming out, so I pre-ordered it. I got a version that has a soundtrack and everything. I saved up my money, got that game. It's an old school dungeon crawler. I think it was originally like a Saturn game or something that they ported over. Pretty hard game, but pretty fun. I haven't played too much of it, but it's an okay game. And then Pokemon Y. No, I already said Pokemon Y. And then another game, Dragon Ball Fusions. This is kind of a weird one. My brother has this as well.
I did.
I don't even know how to explain this game. I don't even remember what kind of game it was, but it was kind of fun for a little while.
It was like
an action game.
Reminder. Yeah.
It was like an action fighter.
I want to say it was kind of turn-based, but maybe I was wrong.
I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway,
you were like little chibi versions of yourself, and you could like fuse together.
Yeah, you could fuse random characters together, like Hercule and Goku or whatever you want.
Yeah.
But in general, I feel like I liked 3DS, but then when I look back on what games I actually had and stuff, I didn't really play very many games, and I didn't think any of them were that great.
Well, I mean, I played
a lot of stuff.
I played a lot of good stuff. I never beat it, but I did play Project X Zone, which was like the Sega sort of Namco crossover RPG. Mm-hmm. So there was just a lot of different characters from like some obscure Sega games too that like only had like.
I feel like in theory I'd really like that game, but I
it's good, and they made a sequel too. But that was really good. I'm trying to. I had
Spirit Camera.
I had Spirit Camera, which is a very weird game, which I didn't actually end up beating, and I also had an issue with it because it's basically an AR game where you have to use. The booklet that comes with it, you need it in order to play the game, and it just like the lighting in my house wasn't good for like seeing it, so I would have to like go in the bathroom where the lighting was good in order to play it. So I didn't really play it too much, even though at the time it was like $5 or whatever, so I didn't care too much. I definitely played some Monster Hunter games on the DS.
Monster Hunter games?
Yeah. I had I believe it was like 3 Ultimate, and I also then and I think that was like a pre-owned. And then I at one point I had bought Generations, which was a good one. I think that was the first one that you could use the Palicos or whatever.
Yeah, people really like that.
That was good too. The thing about me and the 2DS is I literally had one and I lost it somehow. I had actually lost it in my car and didn't know where it went. I thought it got stolen. I ended up finding it later. So I ended up buying another one at one point. And during that time, this sort of tumultuous time in my life, so I definitely like traded in a lot of games and didn't always keep them. You
had Super Smash Bros. Right. For 3DS.
Yeah, I had, so when that
you had a lot of stuff
had come out, Super Smash 4 or whatever, which had also come out for the Wii U, I had the DS version of it at one point.
You had some cheap Beyblade game.
Right, there was a Beyblade game. I had Pokemon Moon at one point.
You had Ocarina of Time remake.
No, I actually had Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask.
Yeah, okay. Which I had never played Majora's Mask before, so I didn't beat it or anything like that, but I played that for a good while. I also would use the sort of chance, like I had went back and played Wario Land 3 because I got it from like the eShop that they had on the 3DS.
Good game.
Yeah.
Wario Land 3,
I'm trying to think what I really played like a lot on the 3DS. I did play like One Piece Unlimited World Red on there for a little bit, just because I liked it had a very basic open world, but it did have an open world where you could just sort of be Luffy and like
run around and fling your
and like up on the buildings and stuff. I played a lot of different.
There was a lot of different stuff. I can't remember too many other ones that you played.
I had Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor.
Devil Survivor
at one point, but
the 3DS one,
right. It was like the 3DS remaster, which was kind of good, but there was sort of like in that one there's sort of like a countdown, so you had a certain amount of time to do specific things, and that always like stresses me out. So I eventually, I don't have like any of those games anymore, but I played them. I feel like there's one big one that I'm missing out that I really like enjoyed playing on the 3DS.
Yeah, but if you think of it later, we can talk about it.
Right.
Let's move to 360. So I ended up getting a 360 for Christmas / my birthday because they're like 2 days in a row. I think it was like a few years after it launched. The game I got first was Assassin's Creed. I was really excited about Assassin's Creed. I played a lot of Assassin's Creed. I think I beat the game, and I think I did a pretty good amount of the open world stuff.
And that same Christmas, although I did not have a 360, I was gifted a 360 game, which was BioShock.
Yeah,
so that was the first
good
like
history with
360
BioShock.
game
I love BioShock. You love BioShock. Fantastic game. I think it still holds up really well. I was recently listening to a podcast that somebody said it doesn't hold up very well. I think it's wrong. I think it's still a really good game.
I don't know. Well, I haven't played it since I played it originally on the 360, and I really liked it at the time, but I couldn't. I mean, I think the story was cool. It was creative, and the twist was good. I think that's what I liked it for most, the sort of twist at the end.
I still like the system of like having the plasmids, having to like, if you want, go like hack stuff instead of like, you know, to help you out in the battles and taking pictures and research.
What I was going to say is I literally haven't played the first one since I originally played it on the 360, like so I couldn't tell you if I thought it holds up or not.
But. That just reminded me though of another game which I totally just lost in my brain. It was related to BioShock. Shoot. Oh, BioShock. Fallout. Oh, so for me, a big game that I had was Fallout 3. I didn't end up getting it right away, but I remember vividly my brain. I used to go on Xbox's like main menu where you could watch like Major Nelson talk about new games and like all this stuff. And I remember they showed off the trailer for Fallout 3 and just like blew my mind. I was like, whoa, that game looks sick. Like I got to get that game. And I didn't get it right away. I got it with like the Game of the Year edition that had all the DLCs. So I played through the entire game. I beat all the DLCs. Probably still one of my favorite games of all time. I want to go back and play it again. So I also got the follow-up, New Vegas on release. I got BioShock 2 on release. I think BioShock 2 gets a lot of hate, but I think it was a pretty fun game. And the online was really fun. I've heard people say that the online was trash, but I thought it was
what is people's hate about BioShock 2? Just that it's similar to the first game?
I think they said it was either too similar or the story was boring or like something like that.
The story definitely wasn't as good as the first one.
I think the story was good because, or like, obviously they couldn't do the twist again, so like that part of the story's out, right? I think they followed it up pretty good. They gave some backstory on the big daddies and stuff. I think it was pretty well done. It wasn't super interesting, but I still had fun, and I like the classic formula. I wasn't opposed to having it be pretty much the same game.
I think if I recall the first one, the ending I got was the one where they're sort of like, your little sisters thank you as they grew up and became women.
Yeah, you saved all
of
them,
that.
I think.
Yeah,
I like that. I had that ending as well. What else? 360. I actually bought Sonic 06 before it was known as Sonic 06 by most people. Played through that game a lot. I remember being frustrated at the time about the loading screens. So then fast forward to when Game Grumps played it, it was like confirmation of my entire life because I was like, this game is stupidly hard and it sucks because you have to do a loading screen and then you go to another loading screen and then you play the level and then you lose and then you go to another loading screen and blah, 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 blah. And it was such a joke.
Yeah, game
and
sucks.
I remember, I think I got to like Silver's storyline. I played a bunch of that and I think I finally unlocked Knuckles and I was like, or Shadow. And I'm like, this game, I'm done with this. Well, I ended up selling it to GameStop.
A big game for us. And I don't even think you originally had it. You borrowed it from your friend. I wasn't going to say Gears of War. I was going to say Halo 3. We played a lot of multiplayer of that.
No, so I did own Halo 3 because Bobby sold it to me. Bobby got
right. I thought you borrowed it from him. But no,
this is how Bobby and I met, pretty much. Bobby had the game.
You guys don't know who Bobby is, but...
Well, Bobby was on one of the previous podcasts. If they want to find him, at Bobby Durian on Twitch. I don't think he has YouTube right now that he posts on. But anyway, so he bought it on release and because of the hype, I think. And he's like, I don't really like first-person shooters. Do you want this game? And I was like, absolutely. And I think he sold it to me for like $40 and it was like still like $60 everywhere, or $30 even, because Bobby's a stand-up person. And so I bought it and I played a crap ton of that. And I played a lot of Xbox Live. And then pretty much at the same time, we borrowed Gears of War from somebody. Who did I borrow Gears of War from? I think it was George from high school or somebody I knew from high school. We played a ton of Gears of War, especially online with one of our friends, David. Just such a good time. I bought Gears of War 2 on release. I've been a big Gears fan ever since. What else? I think those are the main 360 ones. I'm not gonna go crazy. I played so many 360 games, and I still have a million.
Right. For me, it was I never actually officially owned a 360. So
but you played it a bunch,
right? But... I played it like yours, and then like when I was in college, I had friends who had it, so I played like a bunch of Halo Reach in college.
Oh wait, the last thing I want to say before is Xbox Live arcade games though, because I had some of those.
Oh yeah,
it was the first time I ever played original Contra. I bought Contra on Xbox Live
Arcade.
We both played that.
I don't know how good of like a port that was though.
No, I don't think it was a good one. I had like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie on there. Yeah,
I beat.
What about original games? I had Shadow Complex, which was a really good game. That's
cool. It was like a Metroidvania.
Yeah, I have the PS4 version of that as well. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, the infamous game. Bobby and I played that thing to death. I'd have to look up, but a bunch of Xbox Live arcade games were really fun. What else did you play? Halo Reach.
One game that I
played Prince of Persia.
That I owned was because I had gotten it from like my college. I actually got it from my college's like bookstore. They had a copy of Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
So I had that I played a bunch.
Oh, we played a ton of Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
And then we got Street Fighter 4. Yeah. We played a ton of that. That I forgot to mention that too. That's probably like one of my favorite fighting games just because of that reason. Played a lot of Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
I played it online too.
In terms of 360, some like games that I really enjoyed on there is like Ninja Gaiden 2. I actually beat. That's a good accomplishment for me. I was like, all right, that's a hard game that I could actually beat. I borrowed
that from my friend. That game was really fun.
I did own it at one point. I really like the Blaze Blue series, so both of the Blaze Blues that are on 360, or include, I guess it's technically 4 if you count the like extended versions, or I don't know if the first one had an extended version, but I really like Blaze Blue. I played the first Persona 4 Arena and the second one Ultimax. Those were really good on that system. I'm trying to think of there are a lot of 360. There are a lot of 360 games that
we gotta keep moving too, because I don't know if
you played Halo ODST.
Halo ODST was a really good. I have so many. I mean, there's so many. Resident Evil 5. Right. There were so many games I played so much because I didn't have very many either. So I like completed games. I played like so much. Played so much Halo 3 Forge mode and like all this crap.
Assassin's Creed 2 is also amazing.
I actually played a bit of it. I don't remember playing it, but I think I have like most of the achievements.
Ezio's the man.
So we'll go to PS3. We both don't have much of a PS3 background. I bought mine when like PS4 had already come out.
Right.
And pretty much the only stuff I really played was I played like Uncharted 1, which I beat. I played a little bit of Uncharted 2. I played Ratchet and Clank Collection, and I think that's pretty much it. Oh, I forgot to say Oblivion. I played a ton of Oblivion on 360.
I had a PS3 or I didn't actually have a PS3. The girl I was dating at the time had a 360, but I think she found like a PS3 for cheap on like Facebook Marketplace or something. And it came with games, so she bought it, and. At that time, let's see, I had PlayStation All Stars, which I played on that, which was like a Smash clone, but like not very much like Smash at all, unlike some of the new ones that are currently out. But it was still a somewhat enjoyable game. I did play the PS3 Twisted Metal, but that was kind of hard. I mean, Twisted Metal games are harder than you would think.
They're hard, yeah.
I played Metal Gear Solid 4 because I loved the Metal Gear Solid games. I played 1, 2, and 3. I never beat 1 technically, sorry, but I did beat 2 and 3. And then 4, I mean, I didn't beat that one either. I did play WWE 2K14, which was like the newest one at that time, which was really good because the sort of showcase story mode was like a WrestleMania one, so there's a lot of classic matches you could recreate in there. I had this game it was like an anime style. It wasn't Grand Blue, but it was like something like that. It was like something blue or blue something, maybe. If someone saw it, but I believe I also played Blaze Blue on there as well. I really like Blaze Blue.
Yeah,
I love those like yeah, I know.
You like what's the name of the developer that makes them?
Arc System Works.
Oh yeah, Arc System Works.
Which is crazy because their original thing is Guilty Gear, but I never really got into
Dragon
the Guilty
Ball
Gear
Fighter
games.
Z and like all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's now since we're on kind of like current gen,
well, actually, really just to go back to 3DS, there also I briefly had there was a Dragon Ball fighting game, Dragon Ball Z fighting game from Arc System Works
on the
3DS that was like a very basic version of what Fighter Z eventually became, but it was pretty crappy. It was like Ultimate Tenkaichi or something like that, I think.
Okay, so now that we get to PS4, Xbox One, we're gonna just kind of talk about like I guess games we like, because I mean the memories are still there, but
fresh.
It's fresh, and we both don't have a PS5. I don't have a Series X, but I have Xbox One games that are also available on Series X. So I guess for PS4, again, I didn't buy PS4 until a little bit later into the life, and the reason I bought it was the Final Fantasy 12 remake, whatever. So I played that. I played all the Digimon games available because I really wanted to play Digimon related games. So I had a lot of fun with those. A big one for me was Monster Hunter. The new Monster Hunter game, had a lot of fun with that. And yeah, I've played so much PS4. Oh, I mean, like Spider-Man PS4. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, as people probably know. We played Doom together on multiplayer like years later, but the Doom multiplayer is awesome.
It's really fun.
I think I would still want to play it now.
And just the actual game is good.
Yeah, obviously the game is good. Yeah, I mean, nothing else is really jumping out at me. What do you want to say about PS4? You got your PS4. I sold him my other PS4 like just a few years ago.
His original PS4 he ended up selling to me because he got the Spider-Man
I got the Spider-Man one,
which is right here.
Yeah.
I originally played PS4 because a different girlfriend I had at the time had a PS4. Like the first game that I really played hardcore on the PS4 and ended up that was the first platinum trophy I ever got was Fallout 4, which I had friends in college and who played 3 and who played New Vegas and loved them. And then 4, I remember it came out and everyone was kind of like, oh, it's not that good. But I had still never played a Fallout game before, and I had the opportunity, so I started playing it, and I really, really liked it. I know some people have an issue with the sort of building like your town or whatever, but you don't even really have to do it. You just have to, like, if you don't want to, you don't have to. You
don't have to do it, but
there's specific missions that you could play. But I mean, not having played any other Fallout games, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I thought the graphics looked freaking amazing, and sometimes you'd just be like running through the open world and just seeing all the crazy stuff. Looked really awesome. I really liked that.
Shadow of War.
Well, I'll get to that. I was going to say another game that I played around that time when I had first sort of been able to play PS4 was Final Fantasy 15, which I like. I played it a lot. It was more like I like it less for the story and like it more for sort of
the open world.
Just kind of like immersion of it. I really like that, even though you couldn't really control it and you're pretty much on a set path, I really like the idea of driving around in the car and then you put on, whatever old Final Fantasy music and stuff, or one of the new tunes they had. It was very cool, and it was a lot of fun, especially like the end game of it, or like the after the story stuff, going around finding like the hidden temples or dungeons and fighting through those. Crawling through those. That was really fun. So I really enjoyed that as well. I didn't platinum that one, but I'm so close. But whatever save file I had on it, I believe got deleted. So I would have to start the game over anyway. But I might do that one day because I'm pretty sure it's like pretty cheap these days, right? To get a copy of like Royal Edition. Or
I think it's like $20 or less.
Yeah. Other PS like. I'm trying to think. I really enjoy the, Middle-earth, Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor. That was also a game, the first one, Shadow of Mordor, that I platinumed. I really enjoy those games. The Nemesis system is awesome. Everyone who plays it has a different playing experience based on like which type of orcs, have issues with you. And
yeah, I do think that part of the game is really cool.
And then Shadow of War, they improved it even more. Where like crazy stuff. Like you could cut off, an orc's arms, and then he comes back with like metal arms and is like, really cool looking. And they're really fun games. It's basically, they're like, same gameplay style as like the Arkham Asylum games, the Batman ones.
That's a good point. I played those ones.
It's like the WB action games. Yeah. But also another game that I played by WB that was similar to that as well, that I don't think a lot of people talk about, is the Mad Max game, which I really enjoyed as well. That was another one where it's just like open world. You could drive around in your car, have car battles with people, and then you'd go into the main areas and like fight through them, and they're sort of like dungeony-esque, and it was a really fun game as well.
Lego supervillains, Lego DC supervillains.
Yeah, I mean, I've literally played so many. It's like Persona 5.
Yeah.
I could just go on and on, but like that's generally the type of games I like to play, where you have an open world and you can do side missions. And
you're very into open world games lately.
Yeah, I enjoy them.
And I think that's pretty much going to be it.
I will just say Fall Guys is great too. I love Fall Guys.
Yeah, Fall Guys.
Because I like platformers as well.
I guess for me, like more recent stuff I got super into as well for PS4. I played Final Fantasy VII Remake. I played Dragon Quest XI, which I really liked. I played Final Fantasy 15. I played Bug Snacks. Yeah, and then I guess Xbox One for me. I played a lot of like free-to-play games when I first got it. I played Halo Master Chief Collection. I think I played a little bit of the Gears remake,
the Master Chief was
remaster,
free-to-play?
or Ultimate Edition. No, but it came with the Xbox I bought. I played a lot of Smite, for anybody who is a fan of MOBAs. And yeah, Xbox One, I didn't have too many like exclusives because there weren't that many, but I did play some games. And then now games that are like Xbox Series X, I played Digimon Survive a little bit, and what else? There's a few other ones Elden Ring. Didn't beat that yet. But yeah, let us know in the comments.
We would talk about Switch, but I've played the Switch. Well,
yeah, I guess we could talk about Switch a little bit. I haven't played it. But...
He has a Switch. He's got mad games, but he hasn't played them.
I don't know.
I played like Odyssey, which is amazing. Super Mario 3D World, which originally was for Wii, but it's the one with Bowser's Fury, and then the Bowser's Fury add-on is awesome too.
Hades, we didn't talk about Hades.
Oh yeah,
you played Hades.
I have Hades
Switch,
on the Switch, but digital.
One.
But Hades is a great game. It's a great roguelike. Or is it? Some people roguelike. I feel like both people say both things.
Roguelike is when you die and you don't get anything additional.
Right.
Roguelite means like you die and you get to take some stuff with you. So I think technically Hades is a roguelite.
Right, because you get
to
some
take
stats
upgrades and stuff with you.
But like Binding of Isaac would be a roguelike because you just lose everything.
You don't. Yeah, exactly.
That's another game. We didn't even talk about like Steam or anything like that.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about Steam. Right. But yeah, if we want to talk about Steam, I have a lot of memories with Team Fortress 2. Yeah, but anyway, so that's going to be the end of this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe we'll do part 3 of just like what's recent stuff we've been playing that's fun. Could be a good episode. So thanks everybody for listening / watching.
Thanks for listening.
And we'll see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody. Bye.